Let's talk about habits. What makes it difficult to break bad habits and to embrace new ones? Today we're looking at the energy of habits. So first, let's look at how a habit forms. I want you to imagine that is your mind or your brain, the way you think, the way you process. It is how you are, what's happening on the inside of yourself. So say we want to create a new habit, but in order to create the new habit, we have to change. So perhaps we want to stop eating the chocolate. So we get the idea, we want to stop eating the chocolate. And then what happens, come evening, we're sitting on the couch, we're starting to feel the need for chocolate. And although we want to stop it, we just eat the chocolate. So what's happening here is habits. If you imagine this like a field, this is a pathway. Every time we sit on the couch to watch TV, we have chocolate. When we have that chocolate, we go in that direction. We do it automatically. Each time we repeat a process of behavior, we do it, it becomes totally automatic. So what's happening though, if you imagine this as a field, that if we keep traveling down the same pathway within our mind, it does become a road. So now, every night, we just make sure we get the chocolate in, because we know we're going to sit on the couch, we know we're going to watch the TV, and we know we're going to eat the chocolate. Now when we want to change, what's happening is that particular behavior is making us feel negative. And when we feel negative about any kind of behavior that we're doing, it's a fair good indication that we need to create a change. So whatever we were doing, such as the chocolate, and we end up feeling less of ourselves, we end up feeling negative, it gives us the impetus to make that change. So let's just say we want to give up chocolate. So that's our idea. We want to let go of the chocolate. So now we come in, we sit on the couch, and we watch TV, and that little chocolate pattern comes up in our head, and before we know it, we're going down that highway. And that's because those neural pathways are immediate. So we're not even aware that we have a choice there. We've forgotten what we want to do. We're just caught in the pattern. So in order to create a new habit, what happens is when you sit on the couch, you watch TV, you have to start creating a new way of being. So if you imagine that this is a field and you want to start taking another pathway, well, like any field, if you suddenly get off the familiar track, it's going to be difficult at first. You got to lift your legs up that bit higher. You have to reinforce that pattern of behavior. This one is automatic. Whenever we repeat anything, we do it totally without thinking. So we need to get the conscious thought in there so that we stop that habit and create a new one. So each time now we sit on the couch, we watch TV, and we don't want the chocolate. So our behavior has to change. So maybe we get a glass of water. It might feel a bit odd at first, but we're drinking the water. It's a thin, light pathway going through your mind, but you feel positive instead of negative, because you're creating something that is giving you more of you. So then what happens is that each time we create a new pathway, and each time we repeat that pathway, eventually that pathway becomes the road. And this one, if you do imagine that this is a field, if a road is not taken in a field, what happens? Nature reclaims it. This pathway just dissolves as this becomes our highway to a more positive view. So any kind of habit then is about recognizing that you are creating a new path. You are changing the way that you behave. Remember, each time we repeat something, we're creating neural pathways so that in the end we don't have to think about what we're doing. So that glass of water becomes that highway. But more importantly, you become more positive. It takes 21 days to create a new habit, and that's because you have to keep repeating it. You have to keep forging that field, going through, finding that path, and repeating it. Each time you repeat it, you're making an easier way for yourself. And this one, what we could call the bad habit, disappears. So remember that. Stick with it. Catch yourself before that automatic trigger of doing whatever you're doing comes into play. And even if you sit on the couch and you start with the chocolate, stop yourself here. Get up, get the water, and get on that pathway. And as you do, the habits that you have in your life are going to reflect a brighter you, because you're going to choose to make them support you. Positive ones.